In today's video, we'll be going over two major titles being released by a pretty notable publisher by March 31st of 2019, and those two games we'll probably hear about at E3 of this year. It looks like if you're waiting for EA to drop loot boxes and microtransactions, you are going to be sorely disappointed, and a very notable game from Bandai Namco may have gotten its release window. More on that in a little bit. First, let's talk about Capcom and their plan to release two, quote, major titles by March 31st, 2019. They announced this during their latest financial results presentation, and they didn't say what these games are. One game that seems to be a lock, and a game that has been heavily rumored, especially because they're calling these major titles, so these can't just be smaller downloadable titles like a Mega Man X collection. I wouldn't classify that as a major title. Rather, how about a game like Devil May Cry 5? We've been hearing rumors about that game for a long time, and I think E3 of this year would be an amazing platform to showcase that game, especially during the Sony press conference. And one of the major rumors attached to Devil May Cry 5 is the fact that it will feature some sort of PlayStation exclusivity, whether that be a timed release, exclusive content, I don't know. The rumors also point to the game being released on PC on top of PlayStation 4, so hopefully we finally see that game at E3. And the exciting thing about Devil May Cry 5 is that yes, it's DMC5. The idea is to bring back the classic Dante, and that's what turned off a lot of people from Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry title and DMC Devil May Cry. And personally, while I thought that game was great, Ninja Theory is one of the more underrated studios in the world. Even I was a little turned off by the direction they took the world and Dante himself. I was a big fan of classic Dante. I know you guys are too, and hopefully they finally show off Devil May Cry 5 at E3. The other game has me a little stumped. I don't know what that could be, but if I had to take a shot in the dark, who wouldn't love a brand new Onimusha game? I know I'd love to see that franchise make a comeback. I don't know if I'd classify that as a major game, but it is a Capcom developed and published title. We haven't seen an Onimusha game for a very long time, and hopefully at some point it could make a comeback. Could be a brand new Resident Evil game, could be a brand new Dead Rising title. I doubt that they're gonna do a full-on ground-up Mega Man title, but hey, that would be great too. I think DMC5 is a lock. What that other game is, that's still up in the air, but we should find out at E3. Moving on from that, there has been some regulation on loot boxes and microtransactions, namely from Belgium and the Netherlands. They've ruled that loot boxes in games like FIFA Ultimate Team are equivalent to gambling, and it's against their laws, but that is not gonna stop EA, and can you really blame them? They're making absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. But here's what EA Chief Executive Officer Andrew Wilson had to say. We're going to continue pushing forward with FIFA Ultimate Team. Alright, this next line is a little bit of a kicker. We're always thinking about our players. We're always thinking about how to deliver these types of experiences in a transparent, fun, fair, and balanced way for our players, and we'll continue to work with regulators on that. We're working with all of the industry associations globally, and many of the regulators we've been working with for a long time, and they have evaluated and established that programs like FIFA Ultimate Team are not gambling. I'll leave a link to the entire article that VentureBeat has up, some insightful information over there, so make sure to give that a look. As far as my personal opinion, can you really be all too surprised? I mean, EA at the end of the day is a business, and they've made it evident that consumers be damned, they are looking to make the most amount of money possible. Sure, they have published some good games. I mean, you look at a game like A Way Out, that was a great game, sold very well, but their money makers are without a doubt their sports titles and all of the microtransactions that those have implemented. They tried to do the same thing with Star Wars Battlefront 2, but that turned out to be a gigantic debacle, and EA has really destroyed that franchise. Really incredible how they've just annihilated that franchise thanks to microtransactions. If you told me prior to the announcement of the first Star Wars Battlefront that in 2018 that's what that franchise would have turned into, it would have been so upsetting to me. But at this point, I think all of this just comes with the EA territory. Not saying I like it, but can you really expect any different from them? So moving on from that somber news, let's talk about a game that I personally am very excited for, the Souls-like game in Code Vein. I know a lot of you guys hate that term Souls-like, but that's what this game is being described as. It is being published by Bandai Namco, the same guys that published Souls over here, and they actually sent out an email to press giving the release dates for many game, and Code Vein was listed as a July 2018 title. That's very surprising to me. Usually you don't see massive games being released in summer, especially in the middle of summer. Maybe you'll see a game be released early in June. Technically, summer's not even beginning at that point, or you'll see a game late in August. I remember the Saints Row games had a trend of being released late in August, but that middle summer month of July is usually completely dead. But I've always thought, why not release a big game during that time? There's nothing else coming out. You've got no competition, and considering that Code Vein is a brand new IP, I think releasing it in July of 2018 is a great idea. I'm a big fan of what we've seen thus far of the game. I like the anime Japanese influence look, so July 2018, a game that I'll definitely be checking out. So that is going to conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about Capcom releasing two major titles by March 31st, 2019. I think one of those is without a doubt Devil May Cry 5. The other one I am really stumped at figuring out. Again, I'd love it to be Onimusha. I think a Resident Evil game makes more sense. That's a franchise that has that commercial success backing it. It's been a while since we saw RE7, so Resident Evil 8 wouldn't shock me, but come on, Onimusha, that'd be really cool. What do you think about EA still being in love with loot boxes and microtransactions? A little bit disappointing, but not all too surprising. And Code Vein launching in July, that's what it looks like based on a press email, so that's very exciting as well. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.